Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I'm so happy to be here with you today, and I want to thank you for watching and listening. My passion is to help you live your best life, to help you live your happiest life. In these times right now, there seems to be a lot of turmoil, a lot of challenges happening in people's lives, and I like to help people get through those problems. And I help them as a medium by connecting with our loved ones on the other side, and also as a spiritual life coach. And particularly as a coach, it's helpful to empower people to move through these life challenges, issues, stress, and worry that so many of us have right now. And I love doing that. It's so much fun to do. And it's actually very inspiring to see someone change their lives. They decide what they want to do and they move in that direction. And it's very wonderful when that happens. And every week on this show, I do a coaching tip. And I love my coaching tips, and I hope you do too. And today's coaching tip is all about when we want life to be the way it used to be. Haven't you been there? I think everyone has been there, where something happens in our lives and all we can think about is what it used to be like. We're not thinking about what's happening now. We're thinking about the past. I have a friend who lost a job, and all she was talking about was how life used to be. She used to have purpose. She used to have money. She used to have a reason to get up in the morning. She used to be happier. Life used to be great. Okay. And then I have another friend whose partner had changed over time, where he used to be attentive and interested before. Now he just seems disinterested and doesn't seem to really show any attention to her at all. And she was looking for the relationship that she used to have with this person. It is inevitable that life will change. Our relationships will evolve. Our jobs may change. Our situations are going to change financially, our house situations. We may lose people. We may lose pets. All sorts of things can happen in our lives. And that can cause us to start to look back and think, boy, what we had was so much better than what we have now. And part of that is we know what we had. We were comfortable with it. And it is a natural process. People do this. Everyone does this. We look back and we wish we had whatever it was. It's very natural. No one should think, oh, I should stop it. No, don't. Not just yet. It's important when you look back, especially because you have to deal with a loss frequently. And when we look back, we have to grieve the loss of a person, a job, a situation, whatever it is. There's a lot of loss here so frequently. And when we look back, we see these changes and everything that's going on in our lives. We recognize what we had. Uncertainty, sadness, worry, stress, all of these things come when we have change going on in our lives. And when we get stuck wishing on the past, wishing for the past, we're actually not in the present. And when we're not in the present, we're not able to process what's happened in our lives and move forward. We can't take actions to shift because we're wishing on the past. But you can use that as a way to move forward. When you're looking back on something and it's something you really want again, there's something that you're certainly looking for, okay? You might think on the surface is what it appears to be, is you're looking for a certain position, or maybe your old job, or you're wishing for a certain person. But underneath that, there's an emotion that you're actually looking for. You're looking for something in particular to help you feel better. It's something that you want, you think would make you feel better. Or it may also be an emotion that you need to deal with. The loss of a person is huge. And so frequently when we lose somebody, we wish that they were here again, of course, and we wish we had that feeling again of them being in our physical lives. And this is a very necessary part and a very natural part of us dealing with grief. And as time goes on, we will start to move forward and we start to have some healing, and we'll start to accept that this change has happened in our lives. And when we start those things, we move back into the present. And then we can start to really integrate this new reality into our lives. It does take time when you're dealing with the loss of a person. And it can take a very long time, as some of you, I'm sure, can attest to. But when we wish for that past, it helps us deal with the emotions. It helps us deal with the grief. It helps us deal with what we're experiencing right then. Now, of course, if you're wishing for the past and you're wishing for this person to still be there, you recognize they're not coming back. So you're wishing for that feeling of love back in your life again. And that would be the emotion you'd want to get back in and to acknowledge all of those things. Now, if you do get stuck there, and you're in this process for a very long time, then of course I would recommend that you might want to get counseling to help you move through it if all you're thinking about is the past. Now, my friend who lost her job, she kept talking about so much that she lost all these things. She wanted that job back, but that wasn't to be. She wasn't supposed to have that job back. And what she was really looking for was security. She wanted to have a situation where she felt secure in her life again, where she felt happy again, where she felt like she had enough money. She felt a reason to get up. She needed those things. And by living in the past, she wasn't aware of the present. She wasn't aware of the opportunities that were right in front of her. And it was important for her to recognize, looking back, to see what it was she was missing, but then also come back here to the future, the present, and see what you're missing out on. Now, my other friend who was having an issue with a relationship, she was wanting to move back to a time where she felt loved and valued. And she could continue to wish on that, or she can take some action to try to get that moving the way she wants it to do. So it can be okay to wish for the past, what you used to have, if you use it as a catalyst for change. You need to separate out the specifics, okay? Don't wish for a certain person if they're not available anymore, a certain job if it's not available anymore, but move instead into the emotion. What emotion is it you're looking for? What emotion is it you need to have in your life that you really want? You've got to just release those specifics and move into that. Life isn't permanent. Situations in our lives, good and bad, they're not permanent either. As they say, change is the only constant in life. And when we wish on that past, wanting it to be back in our lives, wishing life to be the way it used to be, that's a sign to pay attention to what it is you're talking about and grieve the loss if you need to grieve a loss. If you have a painful situation happening, a painful change, or a loss of a person, whatever it might be, grieve that, get through the feelings of it, and then what you can do is start to take steps to integrate into your life this new reality and start to replace what you feel is missing. Now, of course, a loss of a person, you're not going to replace that person, but you want to get that feeling back in your life of the love that you used to have with them. So that is really my coaching tip of the day. What you want to do is just let it go as best you can, feel it, accept the change so you can move through it. Sometimes just having the awareness of the feeling that you're looking for or what you feel you're missing helps you integrate the past and release things, release the pain, and then it allows you to move forward back into your present life. So that's my coaching tip of the day. And in case you're just joining in, you can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzyden. And I would love for you to find me there and just send me a little message. That would be awesome. So we are going to move on to our first caller tonight, who is Jen from Los Angeles, California. Jen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So how can I help you tonight? Do you have something specific in mind?
Yes, I would like to know about my relationship. I have a boyfriend from a long time. We had a on and off relationship, and we got back together. And from now on, it's really hard to get moving forward. I'm just wondering if there's any possibility to make it happening.
Do you want to know about making your relationship happen?
Like if we can get married one day.
Okay. Now, whenever I do a reading here on the show, I always like to touch in with spirit on the other side. And I do have a gentleman who comes in and does want to talk to you. He actually feels quite fatherly to me. So we've got either a father or a grandfather coming in. He does feel very, actually on the quieter side. I don't feel a lot of emotional things coming out of his mouth. I feel a lot of tradition with him, certain ways of doing things and everything. And he just wants to come in and actually tell you that he's very happy to be here talking to you right now. I'm I also feel a bit of stuff going on in his head. Did you have a father, grandfather who had something happening in their head where it would have affected their balance?
Yeah, because my grandfather, he passed away a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago.
Okay, because the balance just feels a little bit off. They're a little bit dizzy. And was he quite traditional in the things he liked to do and family traditions?
Yes, so we used to do every year celebrating Thanksgiving or like celebrating Christmas every year.
Okay, because it seems like those are very big to him.
Yeah.
Having those it's the family traditions, the certain ways of doing things that seem to be very important. He tells me you've actually become much more independent than you used to be. He's telling me that you are moving forward in your life, like doing what you want to be doing. He does give me the impression that this person you're in the relationship with is a bit hesitant about being in fully committed. Is he not really all in yet?
No, it's because we're having a long distance relationship.
Oh,
and
okay.
Before my grandfather passed away, I brought him in to the house to introduce my family, and then he met my grandfather too.
Okay. That makes sense because it just feels like it's not all in here. I'm not feeling as though, I'm not getting the impression that it's because he doesn't love you or anything like that. Okay, so I want to make sure I say that. I definitely feel there's a strong love here. There seems to be some other priorities, of course, right now. If we're doing the long distance thing, there does seem to be some other priorities, and it's hard to make the changes and shift things around. Okay. Your grandfather's telling me to continue doing what you want to do for yourself, to do what you need to do and all of that. He doesn't want you to, he's using the word sacrifice. He doesn't want you to sacrifice yourself waiting for something else to happen. Okay. So that sounds to me like he wants to make sure you're still living your life fully, completely, all of those things, but that you're not going to put your life on hold waiting for something to happen. Okay. There seems to be, I keep getting down the line. There seems to be some more movement, forward movement, but down the line to me is looking like a couple years anyway, before there seems to be a way to make this happen where you can be together more regularly. There seems to be enough issues standing in the way to not make it happen sooner. Do you guys have any intention of are you trying to get together? Not be long distance?
We try to see each other once or twice a year because since he lives in England, I live in California.
Oh, boy.
And he already mentioned that his priority is work because he wants to be stable financially. So that's the way he can think of a future. So I kind of get it. I just want to know that if there's any future, I'm not looking for something sooner, but in the future, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years, that he can able to think about something to settle.
Yes. Okay, that explains a lot right there because, there seems to be that problem of things in the way. And also with your grandfather saying to make sure you're living your life and all of that. Going down the line, when I go down, 2 years, even 3 years, it seems like that becomes a turning point, if you will. So in the next little bit of time, it seems like there's going to come a point where you guys have to decide exactly what you're going to do. He's mentioning that word sacrifice again. He doesn't want you to sacrifice your life waiting for something to happen. Okay. That's a heck of a long distance relationship. I can tell you that. And as he mentions that, he's not about to tell you what to do other than what he's already told you, because, you have to make your own decisions. But at the same time, I get the sensation that there may be other opportunities available for you closer in terms of a relationship. And I'm not telling you to end your relationship or anything like that, but he's given me the impression that there's other opportunities closer that you might also consider. But he says you're not stupid, okay? He says you're going to figure this out. You're very intelligent, and you'll have a very good idea what you're doing. So with that, he also says not to worry about it, okay? Don't get too stuck on planning for the future, but to live for today, basically, and not to worry about it. He also gives me the impression, okay, he's talking about within a year, you're going to start really, really evaluating what it is you're really looking for. Okay. So there is something with that. Okay. We're in May. Yeah, definitely. Even by the end of this year, I think you'll start to feel different things, and see where you're going with that. Okay. He's stepping back. Yeah. It seems to be the big thing is really to make sure you're living your life doing what you want to do and not putting it on hold. Okay. And he seems like a good guy. So that may be why there's this time here where you just have to sort it out, over the next year or 2 or 3 even, and sort it out and see where it heads. Because it is worth it. It appears to hold on here a bit. Okay. It is worth it. And that's definitely a feeling I'm getting, that you need to just keep going a little bit longer, and you'll know what you need to do when you need to do it. It won't be difficult. It will be straight for you. Yes.
Because I'm trying to bring him to my family meeting if he does next visit. So I want him to feel a little comfortable with my family, and then I want him to know that I'm taking to the next level.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know if that will make him feel uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, if you haven't had a full all-out discussion yet to say, this is what I'm hoping for, and do that and see how he feels to that, you'll have to be careful not to pressure, of course, but you are smart. You know all this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So you're smart. So you understand that. And it just feels like it'll be okay, So, but you got to give it some time, and don't feel like you got to make it happen. It's got to happen on its own kind of feeling, and you'll know.
Yeah, of course. I'm trying not to pressure him. I will take my time because I'm not ready yet, and I want to pursue my career and my future as well. I just want to know if he will be able to think about future, because he often make me confused, because I thought we were in a relationship, but he makes me confused that we're having a long distance, how this can be work.
Right.
So this makes me a little confusion.
Yeah. So that's part of what he's saying with the Spirit saying, with making sure you're really clear with what's going on. Discuss, be right out with it, very clear, and call him on the confusion too. I mean, if you're unsure of what he's saying and meaning, call him and say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. This is how I feel right now. Explain it, and then see.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Good.
That's what I did last time. That what are we? Because I thought we were having a relationship. I know we're not seeing each other often, but we're having a little special, different relationship than any other people, because we're having a, long distance relationship. But I really want to work this out, because I still want to see you. And then I think he understood.
Oh, good. So continue on that path. I think you're doing the right things. It feels like you're doing the right things here. Okay. So, Jen, I'm going to have to let you go because I've got to get on to my next caller. So just keep doing what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Welcome. You too. And that was Jen from California. And next we have Ketlin from Australia. Ketlin, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Good morning or evening.
Yes, good morning to you. Now, how can I help you today? Do you have something specific in mind?
Probably not. It's more of I'm up in 6s and 7s, to be honest, at the moment, with a few issues. So.
Okay. So let's see. I'm I like to tune in to someone from the other side to get a spirit to come in. So I've got a woman who stepped in really fast right then. Okay, so I have a spirit coming in from the other side. She seems to be quite direct. Okay, I want to get that in because she came in right away. I feel like she actually would push people out of the way to do what she needs to do to get to the people she needs to get to, and that means in the physical too, as well as on the other side. And when she comes in, I get such a sense of enthusiasm and energy from her. I feel very energetic. I feel very passionate about what I believe in. I feel like I would know exactly what I want to do and what is right and what is wrong. And she actually tells me, you're a lot like her. Huh. Yeah. Are you, okay. She gives me the impression you're somebody who really, you're used to having things under control. You like things under control. You like things a certain way, and it's partially a control thing, it's partially a safety thing, and it's partially just because you like it that way. And you really take after her quite a bit because she's like that as well. You know, as I feel her energy even closer, I feel as though her size as a person does not necessarily match her energy. She seems to have a bigger energy than the size of her body. Was she on the smaller side or something, or does she just have a huge energy?
Huge energy.
Yeah, that's gigantic.
Huge
I mean,
energy.
I feel like I could go write a book right now, okay? Because of the energy that's coming through. She's really on top of things. She says you're a big thinker yourself, that you get going on something in your head and it just keeps going and going and going. When you have a problem, do things really get going in your head a lot?
Yeah, very much.
And you start thinking about all the possibilities of this could happen and that could happen and what will I do if this happens and that happens? And do you start to worry about everything that's going to happen around you all the time?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have been.
Yeah. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, I do want to mention this before I forget. I am feeling some issues within the body, and I think they're hers. So I do feel, it feels like there's a heart issue going on here, and something in my lower back as well. But she's also showing me, for you, are you having some stomach issues yourself? Like, is stress bothering you?
Yes.
Okay, because she's showing me that, and it just seems like there's a lot of inner turmoil, of course, going on here with you. And it's almost as though you don't even know which direction to head in anymore. You know, you want to do this, but you're not sure it's going to work. You want to do that, but you're not sure that's going to work. Boy. Okay. Yeah. Are you having any issues with your job? Because all of a sudden your job came into my mind. Do you have a job?
I do. Yes. The one that I have permanently, yes, I have issues with that particular one, apart from the fact I drive about 340 kilometres back and forward for it.
Oh, God. Jeez.
Yeah. But I've just gained employment at two other places that are more closer but don't have the permanency. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that explains a lot, because there's so much disarray here. You know, it's almost it's like you don't know what to do. Boy, yeah. Now, the job that's really far away, do you commute there for a bit of time and then come back?
No, I go there, work, come home.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's got to be a long day for you. You know, the impression I'm getting here from this woman is that you're somebody who thinks you can do it all. and that you think you can do everything. It's more of a what?
Yes. It's more of I feel I have to.
You feel you have to, yeah. And it's kind of like, you know, they use that phrase, you can burn a candle at both ends, you know, and you're doing so much, you're just going to burn yourself out. And there does come a time where you've got to decide. When she's talking about the jobs closer, that feels better, just because it feels like it won't be so stressful, even though I know you're thinking about the permanence of it all. That's part of it, of course, but it seems like that would lead to other things and that would be a good thing to do, just so you're not, overdoing yourself. There's also, she mentions, I only have a couple minutes left, but she also mentioned something about a relationship too. And she's given me the issue. There's a relationship around you, and I don't know if it's romantic or otherwise, but because she's just saying relationship where people who, somebody's not really being as truthful to you as they might be. Okay. Do you have a relationship issue happening somewhere near you?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a lot of that, taking care of yourself. I'm back to that theme again, apparently. Taking care of yourself and making sure you're aware of what's really happening around you. It seems like you've got so much on your mind, you can't really pay attention to what's happening as close to you as you might need to. Okay. And that seems to go along with the job situation. Okay. There's a balance here that you need to find. Okay. In my last minute, she's telling me to make sure that you take your own needs and your own health into consideration. That's more important than anything, because if you burn yourself out at both ends, that's going to take care of all your problems, because you're not going to be able to do anything. Okay. So, so she's talking about that. So make sure you're paying attention to what's going on in your life, and all of that. Okay. I'm sorry. It looks like I'm going to have to go, Ketlin. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So good luck with everything. And stay home. Okay. Okay, thank you. And that was Ketlin from Australia. And I'd like to thank you all for tuning in tonight. This is Colleen Vanderzyden, and it's Creating an Inspired Life. And you can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzyden. And I will talk to you next week.